hurts
Okay,
to.
okay. I was like, that seems like hot
That would
garbage. But
be
I guess if you've been doing this for this way for 2 years, okay.
that would yeah, we would not be using this if that was the
No.
case.
I wouldn't have to clear my Google Drive out so often if that had been the
I
case.
still
But
need to download those files, Rob. I'm sorry.
I have not touched them. I don't need the drive for any. I'm
So,
not going to have this problem anymore now that I'm not doing
Yeah.
this. So
so, like I've had my XBron address since since Gmail was invitation only.
Hmm.
So, like, I've been very protective, possessive of that and everything that's stored in there. So, like, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before I actually started paying the $20 a year to get the 100 GB of
I pay.
storage space because, like,
Same
um,
here.
I was just like, I've got so many emails going back so many years in there, and like it's stupid to keep most of them, but
Hmm.
there is still stuff in there that I refer back to from time to time. I don't want to delete any of the emails, and the emails alone were taking up almost all of the free storage allocation after 20
Yeah.
years.
I, it's like, where did this toy go? And I used to be able to go in and say, oh, I sold this on eBay in 2007. I
Okay,
can't do that
yeah.
now because I went back and deleted like all of those. I wish I hadn't.
Oh, yeah.
The funny thing is, Chris, remember back when we got our Gmails, they said, "Oh, the best thing about Gmail is they're always adding space, so you'll never run out of space."
And that was true for several years. Then they hit 15 gigabytes and they stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like
I remember when it first launched, they were
gigabyte,
advertising a gigabyte of storage,
April
and every time
1st.
you would log in, they had a little ticker at the bottom showing, a small amount that was increasing all the time, like,
Yep.
bytes at a
It
time.
was announced on April 1st, 2004.
Yeah,
And that was such an astronomically large size for a mailbox.
yeah,
People thought it was a joke.
yeah.
I mean, up until
Uh,
like 2010, my work mailbox was 16 megs.
and I think it was like August or maybe September before anyone I knew had an invitation to spare, and I could get one.
My buddy bought one on eBay, and then I got one of his.
I think I might have done the same.
A friend of mine, she was friends from college with one of the engineers at Google, so she has her first name at gmail.com.
Oh,
oh
nice.
wow,
Yeah.
Rob, do you remember Stamen from Gundam Watch?
oh yeah,
He's the one who gave me the invite.
oh nice.
Yeah, he and I were on pretty good terms for a while, and then things happened.
Yeah,
The Inner Chris came out.
Oh,
No, or it was him.
oh, it was just ma many things happened.
yeah.
Is the shortest way to explain that.
Mm-hmm.
A series of unfortunate events.
Yes.
For my part, I was well-meaning and everything, and a lot of people were not understanding of my intentions.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So the big news item this week is that Super 7 T-Rex.
Yep.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yes, no one mentioned the other thing because we need to have Don restrain all of his reaction until actual show content. We need it to all burst out at
Oh God,
once.
God! I'd forgotten that there's not an Ultimates Megatron.
Yeah,
It's
Yes,
the
the reaction.
Oh, that's
Did,
so
did I
sad.
not put that? Did I not put that in
No, no,
the
no, no.
headline?
I just clicked it.
Okay.
Like I should have realized it because I know there's not an Ultimate.
Should we let Don get out all of his happy before I go over all the reasons why it was the wrong choice?
Okay, so what I want to
No,
do,
let's save this. Let's save this because that's my take too.
what
Go
I
ahead.
want to do is when we go into the news, I want to throw to Don and have him read that first item and then just go directly into the Don take on this news because I think our audience probably cares more about hearing what he thinks about this than
And
any
they
of the
agree
rest of
with
us.
him.
Yeah, no,
I'm
yeah.
sure. No, I made my list to be a joke anyway, but I
Of
probably
course.
shouldn't have written it when I was in kind of a bad mood. So
No, that's the best time. You can always edit on the fly as you read it. But it's
I
the
didn't put
best
any.
to
There's nothing offensive in there.
get all of it recorded in the height of the heat of the moment.
Oh, I forgot.
I did also include a couple reasons why my idea is probably not the best choice.
Yeah.
So
A list like yours is like frosting a cake. It's always better to take some away than to try to, add on more after you start.
I'm going to change subjects. I forgot
Yes.
that they did a remake of Super Mario RPG for the Switch.
Yes, they did.
I've always wanted to play that, but I
Wasn't it relatively recent that they did that?
Yeah.
yeah.
About
Yeah.
last, I think it was October.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I may get that.
Also, as is still just kind of mind-boggling to be able to say, they just patched Final Fantasy VI. Actually, they patched all the Pixel remakes, but yeah, they actually made a small gameplay change to 6 that makes sense and I support.
Oh, nice. I accidentally, and I've been doing this a lot lately, adding stuff to Dawn list. I meant to add it to my wish list. So I just Dawn. It's like, why is Super Mario RPG on my wish list? Dawn, do you
I don't
can
know,
I?
maybe Don would like to play that.
Yeah, Dawn,
Do you
can
have,
I?
do you have a Switch on?
No. Well, I'm assuming he doesn't.
Just
He probably
well,
doesn't.
I mean, a simple mechanical one at least. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use my McKay store credit to get a Switch this weekend that I'm just going to give
nice.
to my kid.
Ooh,
Yeah, I got a Switch and a
cool.
backup 2DS. She's already broken two 2DSs. Or one of she and her sister have broken their 2DSs twice over the last year.
Now, okay,
Cheese
But-
Wedge or XL?
right, that's what I was going to ask.
It's the wedge one.
Okay, in what way and how are they breaking those?
Well, the 4-year-old threw it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's bad.
That'll do it, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the 7-year-old, when she was 6, she didn't do it on purpose. She dropped it, and the screen hit the floor.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But the 4-year-old maliciously did it.
Well, yeah, I mean 4-year-olds.
Yeah, but
4-year-old's gonna 4-year-old.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
the 7-year-old I think is old enough for a Switch now, so she can
That's cool.
have that one.
I thought you meant switches in like Hickory Switch. I thought,
No,
what?
Nintendo
Oh,
Switch.
oh boy.
No, we're not going to punish you for being right about the HasLab, Don. You know, it's
Not yet.
I might.
I can't even talk about it yet. I can't.
No, we can't talk about
No.
it.
Yeah, we can't talk about. I will say this.
Uh,
I'm almost wishing it was my Devastator idea that you could pick your color,
okay.
just because it would have been. I want to see that actually happen.
Okay.
that would have been
Changing-
cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, so changing the subject. Yeah, I always thought with the 2DS, yeah, it's cool they're making one that, the cost or whatever the 3D component of it is taken out of it. It's a little bit more accessible. But boy, not folding closed is just asking for damage to that thing.
Well,
Um,
and it's well, I have to say though, if it's for a kid,
Yeah.
not folding closed is
It's
way
often a benefit. Yeah, I
way
think of
more
the
of a benefit.
screens.
Yeah.
I think of the screens.
Yeah.
No, I know the folding thing is always a weakness in electronics because I knew someone who had to replace their cell phone a few times in the pre-smartphone age because one way or another the hinges on their flip phones were getting broken, whether by their doing or someone else's, let's say.
I will say my refurbed 2DS XL. The only thing I don't like about it is that the hinges feel a little weak. So
I
yeah.
love my 2DS XL. It's
it's a marvelous little thing.
and I had a 3DS. I never used a 3D. I hated it. So I
Yeah, same.
specifically didn't want the 3D.
I would occasionally turn the 3D on here and there just to get the sense of the effect. Sometimes sometimes in cutscenes it was kind of cool to have the 3D when it was designed for that, but a lot of the time no, it didn't really add anything to the gameplay. It was a really cool tech demo. A really cool thing that they figured out how to do without having to wear glasses.
Yeah.
Admittedly, not a mature technology since you had a 5-degree viewing angle where it worked.
Yeah.
But
Oh, come on, Nintendo with mature technology. Look at the Virtual Boy.
I was going to say that was the last time I played anything in 3D was in the Virtual Boy at wherever the display was. Probably Toys R Us.
yeah,
After-
I
after-
stuck I stuck my
After
head
f-
in one of those at Toys R Us too. Sorry, Don.
after 5 minutes, I could not play. I was getting an absolute terrible headache after about 5 minutes.
Oh, the red. It burns.
It was a pretty red, but it gave me a headache.
It was the red of blood.
Yeah, the 2DS,
It was like being cursed.
the Virtual Boy had an extremely high res screen for the time. It was a very capable system. It just was bogged down by being a bad gimmick.
Have you? Well, Brian, since y'all are better video game aficionados than I am, why haven't they come back out with that with new technology? But
Yeah,
not
it's called virtual reality. It's the Meta Quest. It's the
I'm saying something better than Virtual Boy, but not
it's the
super.
Oculus,
Meta
it's
Quest.
the Quest. Yeah.
Oh,
It really, I mean, that really is pretty much
okay.
the
I didn't.
successor to where
I thought that was
things
like
were at.
up here.
Even the PS4 VR was really good. Hey Mickey I'm sure Hey Mickey still has that hardware
I got
kicking
rid of
around
mine.
somewhere. But like, the PS4 VR came with like very much like Wii Sports, just a disc of like demo content, basically, little mini game kind of things. So I played with some of those. He also ended up getting the Star Trek Bridge Crew game. I got to play that a little bit too. Like the VR, the picture in the VR headset, even on the PS4 VR, is like really, really good.
Yeah, it makes me
And
sick.
I got a little bit of motion sickness doing the Arkham mini game on the like intro disc once, but like other than that, none of it really bothered me that much.
Yeah, I got rid of
And
mine.
I got over the motion sickness by killing Nightwing over and over again by, rewinding and fast forwarding that sequence. It was kind of fun.
He's not Jason Todd.
But the Star Trek Bridge Crew, that's the coolest thing. Like I wish I had room for VR so that I could actually play that game. I own a copy of it for PS4 because I found one day at Walmart marked down to like $16. So I just went ahead and bought it just in case at some point in my life I can have the VR tracking set up adequately. And at this point I have internet now too where I actually could play the game with like, people if I didn't want to if I didn't want to not crew a starship with random people from the internet.
I started watching Lower Decks.
Oh, good.
Just a few episodes here and there when I can, starting with the first episode.
I love it.
And I think I'm up to where they just found out you know who is you know whose daughter.
Okay.
So I just got
You
like
can spoil
two.
it, Don. It's
Yeah, I
been
mean,
5 years.
that's-
Well, I know. I
What,
didn't.
4 seasons deep now?
Yeah. So yeah, I just found that. I mean, they name dropped it like earlier on, but I didn't realize it was being kept secret until Boimer kind of like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was a secret. I thought everybody knew at that point. So yeah, I'm starting to get into it. One of my favorite scenes though, so far, I skipped this way ahead. It's when the Texas class ships go rogue.
Oh yeah.
And they call all the California class ships,
Yeah.
and it's like that's just a cool scene to watch.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of I don't mean this badly. It's a whole bunch of Reliant style feeling ships.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
Yeah. So I don't mean that by bad. The Reliant was pretty much
The
the
second contact fleet looks out for their own, Don.
Yeah, I know. That was just kind of cool just to watch all the ships warp in and just like it was just a cool moment.
I love Lower Decks. Like even taking the humor out of it, like
It's
just the
just good Star
ideas,
Trek.
that they explore in that it is the kind of Star Trek show I would make in the way I would make it. Like it's amazing how much it aligns with how I think about Star Trek.
It feels right. And again, it's more than just a lot of callbacks and cameos, but I love it when they show up at Deep Space Nine.
Yes.
And they're just circling the pylons. And every time they circle, the DS9 music kicks in.
Yeah.
Or when they go to escort Voyager and the Voyager music kicks in. And
like the people making that show love what they're doing. They love Star Trek and they put that into every single thing they do. And like Blade Raider says, when Lower Decks wants to do something cool and fun, it commits. It absolutely does. I also want to rewind a little bit up here from when we were talking about game systems. Manny Kara said the Game Boy Advance SP was the best Nintendo handheld, and he is 100% correct in that factual statement.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the SP.
Well, where's all the Vista fans? I mean,
The
What?
Vita?
Vita?
Vita. Sorry, that was
There are a lot
Vista.
of Vita fans,
Oh,
actually.
Vista.
Oh,
Vista,
yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
the Vita's a great system to put homebrew on.
No, that's
Yeah.
PSP.
That
The
too.
Vita too.
But I think
The PSP was the original, though. Yeah.
Yeah, there are people who genuinely like the Vita and its software.
Yeah. And just like to the person who runs my Gun and Battle Operation 2 clan, like the PS Vita is basically a way of life for him. He loves the thing.
That's cool.
I hear a Hank, but I don't see him, so I'm worried.
That's a good reason to be worried.
Because it's sort of like a horror movie. Because like middle of the night, I'll be half awake for some reason, and somewhere in the house I hear his bell in his collar going jingle 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 jingle.
Jared, I agree. Video game piracy is not generally immoral, since like the majority of stuff you can't buy new anymore
If
anyway.
it's vintage, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, if it's not actively being published in some reasonable way, like yeah, just go ham.
Mm-hmm.
John searching for a Hank.
Yeah. I know you're here somewhere. Come out now.
Yeah, Jared, I go for physical copies of games and things as much as I can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately for PC games, that's rarely an option, but anything console, well, especially since up to 3 months ago, I didn't even have fast enough internet to do downloaded console games in any reasonable sense. Like, it has just never been my way to go that route for any internet enabled console.
I mean, I like video games, but my last new system that wasn't like one of the plug and play systems like the ColecoVision or the Intellivision that you could plug and play on your television was a PS2. No, PS1. I just haven't bought any. It's just
been a
not.
while.
That's my thing right there. I prefer arcade gaming.
We have listeners who weren't alive when the PS1 came out.
Yeah, I know.
I think we probably have listeners that weren't alive when the PS2 first came
I'm
out.
certain.
Yeah.
Well, we probably have listeners who weren't alive when the PS3 came out.
Actually, I am like
Eric is cutting it close to the PS2's
yeah,
PS2's release, I know.
No, but I believe one of our Discord members actually is young enough from the indications they've given that, yeah, they were not alive yet when the PS2 came out.
PS3 came out in 2006.
Which just blows my mind.
Yeah, we have people listening who weren't alive then.
It doesn't feel like the span between the PS2 and the PS3 was that short, But didn't the PS2 come out in 2001?
2000.
Was it like the end of 2000?
October?
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, that's still a pretty short span, like it feels like, to go
6 years
that leap.
6 years is a pretty normal console life cycle.
I guess. I guess the console life is getting a little bit longer now just because it's getting harder to one-up the technology every time.
I was alive when Coleco created the Atari adapter for their ColecoVision. That was something to watch.
JT Prime says, what, the PS2?
It's something I waited outside Walmart for a whole night.
Erickson, when did it come out? It came out in October of 2000 in the US. I don't know where it came out anywhere else.
And didn't it cost like $600 when it came out too?
Oh, it's damn expensive.
No, the PS3 was the expensive one. The PS2 was
PS2 is expensive as well.
But yeah, I think it was only like 400 though.
Yeah. I think it was $399 when it came out. I think I didn't get a PS2 until like 2002.
My brother was very generous. I had no money. He bought two, and he let me pay installments to pay for the one he got me. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the bad part is if you got a PS2 when it came out, a lot of them had bad Blu-ray drive or DVD drives. Um, so they were most of them
I don't remember that.
were bad.
Mine was fine. It was my first DVD player.
Yeah.
It it it,
Same.
it took a while for some of them to wear out, but they did wear out faster than would have been nice. Unfortunately had a modded one I was given for Christmas one year that the physical drive wore out on.
Ugh.
Yeah, one of my favorite systems. I mentioned this before was the JVC XI because I could play
It's not
say
really, I wouldn't call it a system.
well, I could well see I needed a CD player. I didn't have one for the apartment when I was living in Raleigh. So I needed a CD player. It played Sega CD and it played Sega cartridge, and I didn't have a Genesis.
I mean, I would
So,
call it. I mean, it's. I would call it like a Genesis clone. I mean, it was. I mean,
I
that's
mean,
what.
it was made in conjunction between JVC and Sega. So I mean, it was a legit thing. It wasn't like
Yeah, I thought it. No, it wasn't. But the Genesis was all off the shelf parts. You could use the Genesis architecture.
Oh, okay. I thought it
Without.
was an actual collaboration.
No, it was a Motorola 68,000. I think, if I remember right. It was like off the shelf parts. It was like building a PC. I'm pretty sure the XI was not licensed by Sega. I may be wrong. It's been a long time, but if I remember correctly, that was
Is
Per the Sega Wiki, the JVC XI was a partnership console between JVC and Sega.
okay. Manicaris did the same thing.
Wasn't the off-the-shelf parts thing why there were so many unlicensed Sega games though? Because it was possible to, if you knew what
Possible.
you were doing, just go and buy all the parts and reverse engineer yourself. The engineering console to make the games with.
Yeah, I'm sure. Makes sense. But yeah, okay, so it was licensed, so that means it was kind of like the Genesis Model 3 that came out later, or the different varieties of the 3DO. The 3DO was supposed to be a standard, like a PC.
Let's see.
Sean says he's an unlicensed clone.
He is an unlicensed clone.
Hmm.
There was I don't remember. I'm not an expert by any stretch. If Eduardo Lucius was in the chat, he could say if he watched.
He wouldn't be though
He
because
wouldn't be watching.
Yeah.
But there was a licensed Famicom in Japan. Rob, you made this. I don't remember who made it.
Which
Was it
one are we
Philips?
talking about here?
That sounds right, but like I've got the most vague of memory of that.
Yeah, are we talking like the Famicom Twin, or are we talking the TV with the Famicom built into it?
It was a Famicom Twin.
Yeah, I think that was Philips, but Sharp. It was Sharp.
Sharp. Eric loves clones. He does.
Apparently, if your subject matter is still obscure enough, Google will still spit out usable results. So
Well, everybody loves a clone.
Yeah. So if you're counting that as a system, and I'm fine with you counting it, my favorite system is the Mister. It's every system up to the N64.
let's see. Twin Famicom was also licensed, and the red one looks kind of nice.
The game store, a game store near me had the Famicom with a TV, building TV.
Ah,
Recently, I got a photo of it somewhere.
So when I was out with Hey Mickey last week, there's I guess it's not a new like toy shop that's opened up, but it's like moved from a location that I wasn't aware of previously. They had a Boulder Hill set in box, according to
How
them, missing
much?
just one hose, about $400.
It doesn't go for as much as I would think that it would go for.
They also had an in-box G1 Jetfire that looked in pretty nice shape for about $325, $350.
That's about going price for it.
Yeah, no, I kind of was thinking that. Another place in the mall south of Nashville that we popped into quickly also had one in like a grading case, and admittedly, the box on it looked like it was in a fairly nicer shape than that first one, but it was marked to like 750. We were joking afterward, oh, that guy must have gone to that first shop and bought it and come and rushed and put it in his store before we got here.
Dun, dun.
It's 8:30. Let's do this.
Okay.
So we're letting Dawn read the first news item, right?
Yeah, throw the
Yeah.
Dawn when we go to the news.
Okay, so I'm going to stop recording.
And I'm going to start recording.
Stopped. Recording in progress.
We good?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. This is Radio Free Cybertron. Radio Free Cybertron is the world's first and oldest toy and action figure podcast. We've been around since 1999. I'm Brian Kilby. With me this week, we have Chris.
Yes.
Rob.
Hello.
Matt. I think. Maybe Matt disappeared.
He did say a few minutes ago he was having unstable connection issues, so
Oh.
hopefully he'll be with us shortly, but...
Oh, well, that's sad. Diecast.
Yeah.
I'll be Matt this week because reasons.
And Dawn.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. So before we make Dawn's day, let's talk about the news item that we mentioned last week. Starting next week on our Patreon, History on the Fives goes away, and it's replaced by There Goes My Money, hosted by Chris.
Yes.
Posted twice monthly. More importantly, Chris is editing it, meaning that it's going to come out on time.
Or at least much closer to on time than History on the Fives has been able to.
Yeah, so.
Which is not to throw any shade at Brian. Brian has a lot of things going on, and editing takes quite a bit of time. So, like, that's no failing on him. He's just very busy.
Yes.
I want to be very clear on that.
Yes, I'm very busy.
No.
And old. Yeah, and old.
Me
Okay.
too.
So, Don,
Yes.
why don't you take this one?
40th anniversary HasLab announced. This one's for Don. Tuesday, HasLab stream went out to the world on the internet, as such things do. And it was announced that the new 40th anniversary HasLab will be Transformers, Car Robots, Robots in Disguise, 2001 Omega Prime. And I could not be happier. We're getting a brand new Optimus Prime. We're getting a brand new Ultra Magnus, and we're getting a brand new weaponizer in the form of Autobot Blue Bolts, which will be Ultra Magnus's main weapon and the weapon for Omega Prime. I am ecstatic. I was expecting Matt and Diecast to be everybody that was saying Devastator. I was fully expecting Devastator.
Diecast was saying Metroplex.
Metroplex, sorry. Then they dropped the clue about Omega. I was hoping for people like Paladin, it would have been animated Omega. I was hoping for that for a lot of people. But being Omega Prime makes me extremely happy.
So, Don's extremely happy. I'm extremely... I've already bought it. I've already backed it. But, like, I just don't care. I think Superfire Convoy is the most boring Optimus Prime ever. I just don't care for it. That Ultra Magnus is the worst Ultra Magnus ever. And, like, updates to those toys just don't interest me, like, at all.
They were saying that they corrected the proportions on that Ultra Magnus somewhat, but
Where?
I was about to say I think they made the shoulders a little bit wider, which does not make those legs any bit less those legs. So, I've never owned the Ultra Magnus. I actually do like the Fire Convoy toy. I like it. It's definitely
not bad.
No,
I'm
it's
not saying
not.
it's bad. It's just boring.
It's just I don't know. I have a certain affection for it just as a it is very much a Takara Tomy toy of that era, and I feel like it's notable for that specifically because in terms of how it works, there's really not a lot in Transformers before or since exactly like that, I feel.
Well, they forgot how to make cars that turn into robots. And
Yeah,
so it is interesting in that respect.
yeah, and it's definitely a lot more like parts formery, I feel like, than most other, especially modern Transformers. And I'm okay with that. Like I said, I like the thing. I also don't feel any great urge to, get a larger, more elaborate version of it. So I think I'm probably going to let this one go by.
I mean, I decided not to back it either because there's no spy changers here.
Oh, that is disappointing.
Yeah. Um, but like, yeah,
Maybe
they
a
look too
stretch goals.
they look too similar to me to the original toys, and while I respect that they want to keep them true to the roots for the people who, like Don, have that affection for the original toys specifically and would not be so satisfied if they were, updated and remodeled for, better engineering principles or just nicer toyness than the originals. Like, at the same time, I have the original toys. They're fine, except for Ultra Magnus, who's awful. Um, and like, I don't feel the need to replace them with remakes at a slightly larger scale. The only thing, like, I can understand because of what Ultra Magnus has to do, that they probably can't change the proportions very much at all, or the thing's not going to fit together the right way. I really hope, though, someone on one side or the other of this figured out a way to keep Ultra Magnus's legs attached when just transforming from truck to robot, because the original couldn't do that. You had to take the legs off for
Oh, wow.
transformation.
I do have a few thoughts, Brian, if I could talk about
Please,
those for a
John.
minute. Okay. One, I do like the new proportions. The old one, it never really gave me any issue. But having them side by side, I do see some of the proportion issues that they have fixed. Two,
Like
I'm
what?
glad.
Please
Well,
elaborate.
the new one, the new Optimus Prime in just standard in regular mode, uh, well, actually, I should say super in combined mode is a little more. Not want to say lanky, but it's just a bit more natural looking in combined mode, and he's not quite too short. You don't have the ladder having to fold to be on the to because if it's unfolded and he's in combined mode, he gives him a kind of weird little tilt forward just because of the way the ladder has to work. But Ultra Magnus did not skip leg day. I will admit that all day long.
Hmm.
But for it to do what it has to do and to look like the character, you kind of got to have that. So I'm willing to let that go as I did on the original, because as Chris said, if it does what it's supposed to do for the combined mode and what it does add stability, like what they did with Optimus Prime's waist piece with the backpack coming down and adding some support to that center part, because that was one of the drawbacks of the combined mode originally, was he was sort of like G1 Superion, Mr. Floppy Pants. He kind of flopped a little bit because that center support wasn't very supportive.
Hmm.
I will say I do have a couple of issues with the stretch goals. I think, well, okay, I don't.
I can see the Matrix blade. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
Tier 1 is good. Tier 2 doesn't exist.
Okay, that's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
Tier 3 really doesn't exist.
This is true.
Yeah, they might add one if this
Yeah.
keeps going at the rate it's going.
Right.
Maybe.
The thing is that I don't think the Matrix Blade needs to be that far above your base 10,000, because you can get third party Matrix Blades. So that's not really an incentive, I don't think, to get people.
Considering the
Brian.
toys are the same size, you can use those. That's so. Like, I don't want to step all over you, Don, but I just want to get this point out. My biggest problem with this is that once I have this, I can not at more than just a mere glance look at this on the shelf and get confused if it's the original or not. I
Mhm.
can't do that with Deathsaurus. I can't do that with Star Saber. Certainly can't do that with Unicron. Like, this is just too similar to the original release to me.
Right.
See, okay.
Are you-
My problem with it is that it's an Optimus Prime and an Ultra Magnus. We could get an Optimus Prime and an Ultra Magnus on a store shelf. We couldn't get
Mhm.
Victory Saber on a store shelf. We couldn't get Death Source on a store shelf. We couldn't like that's what HasLabs are supposed to be, is stuff that's off the wall, that's not easy to come by originally, like updates of Japanese exclusive stuff.
I mean, I would say I would argue that like if you go into Star Wars, that falls apart a little bit, but with Transformers,
Well,
that's been the case.
I'm talking about Transformers HasLabs. This isn't a Star Wars podcast.
No, but like you said, HasLabs, and I would say like as a general
Well, that's what
theme,
Transformers HasLabs are for.
or have been. Nobody's
For
ever
for stuff that's damn near impossible to come by the originals.
To play devil's advocate here, like all at once, I could see maybe they've tried to float to their retail partners the idea of Commander Class, Robots in Disguise 2001, Optimus Prime, even without the Ultra Magnus idea following up, and the stores are just like, yeah, no, we don't really care for that idea right now. Like,
Doubt it.
what even is this Optimus Prime? I don't remember this from when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that we could get this Optimus Prime and
No,
this
no,
Ultra
just
Magnus at
yeah,
retail. I'm not going to be the guy that's saying, "Oh, these should just be Commander classes,"
right,
because that's not true.
yeah.
These are made for a premium price point. These particular toys could not be retail toys.
Yeah, I'm trying to extend the benefit of the doubt here that like maybe they have tried to get to retail a version of Fire Convoy and Ultra Magnus, these versions of these characters, and the retail side of things is not playing ball with that. They want to do this somehow for the anniversary year for the fans they know that are out there and are very vocal about their love for Robots in Disguise. It's not just Don. There's a very loud part of the fandom that is into that show. I love that show too. It's not a good show, but it's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I
have
like the Fire Convoy. I like the
Yeah.
Red Optimus Prime. The Red Optimus Prime. My fear is that this is the first step towards every HasLab just being another Optimus Prime or another Megatron.
I think it's a step towards HasLabs just becoming boring. Chris, I think were you going somewhere else?
If I was, the point eludes me,
Okay, that's
this
fine.
far in, but like, I'm just trying to look at it from the point of view of they wanted to make this happen somehow, and this was the way they could do it, much like, a store exclusive sometimes. It's not convenient for us for a character, but it's a way to get that out when otherwise it could not exist at all.
Right.
Okay.
All right, can I go? Because I'm angry and I have a lot of
okay,
points.
Okay, I have one more.
Diecast hasn't gone
I
yet.
am not bashing this toy. I'm actually still like 50-50 on whether I'm going to back it or not. So don't think it's just me hating on it.
Okay,
Diecast, you may
Diecast,
go.
All right. If I am angry, if this was not a anniversary year and a big anniversary year, I would have a little less problem with this HasLab. Um, I only watched part of the announcement because I was working and of course I got interrupted. But it seemed like this was, is it Evan?
Yeah, Evan and Ben, I think, were on this presentation.
Seems like this was Evan's dream and Evan's want, and not necessarily what the fans wanted. And
don't do that, because Evan was the one that said we're never going to do Optimus Prime.
Evan doesn't get to choose. Evan probably gets a say in what it is. So
I know, but it just turned me off. This should be, they said, oh, it's going to be 40th anniversary. We're going to do something big. This is the worst HasLab that they've done so far. And like Brian said,
I would say Unicron's the worst one.
If you look at it on your shelf, I have the old one on my shelf right there. And in some pictures, I can't even tell the difference. So this was not the right time for this HasLab. It looks a little boring if you had the original, and I understand some people
Backers currently seem to disagree with you because it's already over halfway funded.
Diecast, I think you're taking it a little too far, but
I think you're taking it a little too personally.
Maybe that, like, the 40th anniversary. It's specifically the 40th anniversary of G1 starting, but they don't look at it that way. It's the 40th anniversary of the brand as a whole, and there is so much of the brand, and Robots in Disguise 2001 is such an overlooked part of the Transformers brand as an entire entity. We've barely gotten recognition for that since Generations started. Like the last 12 months or 12 or 18 months has been the best it's been for that sub-branding of Transformers that it's been since it was on the air originally. Like,
Right, but that's what Legacy's for. Legacy's, you
It's
know,
his legacy.
yeah,
I know, but it's also a HasLab. So
But they stated
it's-
in the stream that it's the legacy.
yeah.
right. Of
Now-
course they're going to brand it that way. I mean, I think Unicron was branded as whatever
Or
it
for
was.
Cybertron, I think.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't think this was the right time for this HasLab, and I think it's a tad lazy, especially with the stretch goals. And
I'm not going
We
to
can
Like
agree
it-
the stretch goals are a little lazy.
Yeah.
maybe if they add another stretch goal, it'll be better. But the sword is even worse than like the gun that we got with Death Source. Like that was cool. It folded up. It did multiple things. This is just a flat plastic sword.
I would almost argue that the sword should come with it because that's
Yeah, I think so too.
The sword should be baked in because that's important to the toy and the character.
As
Yeah,
a Titan
it was-
class Fortress Maximus owner, hard agree.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Okay.
for 250, they also took out all the electronics. They took out
Okay, so I think that's actually good. Electronics are hard to maintain in the long term,
Yeah.
you know.
And they were able to add some stability to the rest of the robot by doing that.
Now,
Yeah.
I do regret that they didn't take the opportunity of a HasLab budget to maintain the Optimus Prime ladder, ripple launcher gimmick, because that's an iconic feature of that original toy. I understand their factory structure now is probably not designed to assemble and manufacture the parts for spring launchers and like complicated action gimmicks like that.
Mhm.
I get that part of it, but like more than the electronics, unless you're going to have it say, hyper goldfish transform, as the fandom used to misquote the fire convoy toy. Unless you're going to have it, say something like that that's meaningful to the fans. Like I think the missile launching gimmick should have been something they included just for like really paying tribute to what made that original toy special in a big way.
Yeah.
But like, no, I mean, I think this is actually the perfect time to do something like this. And again, this wouldn't exist anywhere in the product line, I don't think,
Yes.
without it being a HasLab situation. And I want to especially note someone in our Discord. I'm trying to go back and find the exact quote. Okay, I can't quite. Oh, here it is. Music Fighter said having to release Fire Convoy and Magnus separately over a year apart from each other would lead to Magnus shell forming very badly, and they are 100% correct about that. You would sell
Yes.
Fire Convoy as a commander on its own at retail, maybe. You would not get Robots in Disguise Ultra Magnus to sell on its own with the combining toy being at least a year behind it.
Yeah.
Like,
Quite frankly, anybody that looked at those two toys, if they were released at the same time, Ultra Magnus would peg worm.
hate woodpeck worm.
Right.
I agree with that, and there are things I like about this. I do
okay,
have that.
let's talk about that.
They have a little bit better articulation. Like it does have, ankle rockers, stuff like that. I also like that they changed it from rubber wheels to plastic
Yes.
because we all know most of us on the show have this, and the rubber wheels just break off.
Yeah,
I-
even
I won't
Evans.
I won't even take Optimus Prime out of the box because I know what
Yeah.
will happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared to look at the tires on mine after not looking at it for a while.
And as much as I don't like this, and I don't think it was the right time, I
He's
did
buying it.
order it.
Yeah.
I did order it.
It's fine.
So
It's
you're mad
okay.
because you're mad at yourself.
Yes.
No, I
Okay.
mean, I would have been more okay with this if it wasn't the 40th anniversary and if I wasn't expecting something G1 related.
There was nothing that could match your expectations with this 40th anniversary thing. It's okay. It's fine. It's just boring. That's the worst part about it.
At least
Yeah.
it's not a Primus.
Before
Yeah.
Don picks back up, a couple of things I do want to add. Yeah, it's the fact that it is the 40th anniversary, mostly that I am basically okay with this because yeah, like we were saying earlier, I hope this doesn't become a start a trend of HasLabs being characters that could work on retail shelves in one form or another. But for the anniversary, that makes a little more sense to me to go with like fairly major names. A couple other things I wanted to mention that I don't think we'd mentioned yet. This is being worked on by the original designer of Godfire Convoy. I believe that was Hisashi Yuki.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, he's getting to revisit his own design and touch up things he may have not been satisfied with.
Yeah.
From what Evan's Instagram post was implying, Yuki seems to be having the time of his life getting to design these toys over again.
Oh, that is fantastic. I'm glad to hear that.
Evans said outright that when Yuki would send videos over demonstrating like how the model was coming along and how it was functioning, he would have the car robots theme playing in the background and he'd be humming along to it the whole time.
That is great.
Yeah, so Yuki is completely into doing this. Like he's obviously thrilled.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely spare a little bit of extra affection for passion projects there.
Yeah, absolutely.
There for one. And the last thing I wanted to mention is, I hear correctly that the estimated delivery date is farther out than most previous HasLabs?
Fall of 2025.
Yeah, so people have kind of been wondering about that, and I would just like to refer them to the massive amount of layoffs that Hasbro just had a month ago. It's like I am 100% certain that factors into the extended production time in some way.
Also, one thing I would like to bring up that all of y'all have said is that this is an anniversary year. It's the 40th anniversary of the brand. When this toy comes out, it will be 2025. That's just about the anniversary of Car Robots as well. So it's like
just about, but it's not.
It's not.
It's about halfway between Car Robots and Robots in Disguise. Between the time one started, so it's about the best they can do to split the difference.
Right. So it is an anniversary with an anniversary. It's an anniversary Turkey. But here's the thing. I think this is great because there's not a way probably to get these at retail and they be not a shelf warmer, not compromised. It's celebrating, as was said, a part of the brand that is extremely ignored. If I'm using stronger language, is extremely ignored by a lot of fans, either by ignorance or just they don't care because it's not G1 or it's not Beast Wars or it's not Energon. Now, I do have some issues with the stretch goals. I think the Matrix Blade is a great stretch goal. It does not need to be that far above the base stretch goal.
That's how they set up all their stretch goals for all
right,
their
right.
projects.
I know
they'll hit 13,000.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm just saying, people that know this toy and know the history, that is not going to be. Because if it doesn't hit, that's fine. They can still get
it's
one.
It's a non-stretch goal.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've seen this with Victory Saber and with Deathsaurus and their weapons. I mean,
right. Now, I will say that the second stretch goal is very, very stupid.
Yeah, that's the one that gets me.
I think that is like, I don't know whether they're like giving us something different and like, well, this is the second stretch goal, and then if we hit it, here's your big whammy for your third stretch goal, which could be, for example, either Spy Changer repaints from Micromasters. I'm just saying as an example.
Oh, I'd hate that.
It could be an add-on piece that gives you that rocket firing effect as far as the add-on. I'm just saying they may be other things, but I think they should have made the blade and the stands. I'm just saying, I think something on the stretch goals could have been done differently to make it more enticing.
I just want to say, if I interject something here, Don?
Go ahead.
Thinking about it, I think you are onto something with your Micromasters as Spy Changers idea, because weren't the stretch goals for both Victory Saber and Deathsaurus in order weapon stand Micromasters?
Well, now
like that.
for Deathsaurus, the Micromasters were a surprise. We didn't know about that
Yeah,
until
they're-
after the
Yeah,
fact.
yeah, because
Okay.
Deathsaurus did so much numbers, they just added that onto it after the campaign was already over. Like, hey, you gave us so much, we can actually do this now.
And also,
Gotcha.
so that leaves a sense of what if we hit all these numbers for stretch goal 1 and 2, what are we getting as the unknown bonus? Could it be Spy Changers? Could it
Surprise, you
be
get it on
There's-
time.
There's no guarantee of
there's
Yeah,
not
I
no
wouldn't
there,
expect a
I,
stage
I,
3.
I do not expect it at all.
no.
I
just
do-
be pleasantly surprised if it happens.
Yeah.
I do
Blade
not.
Runner, Blade Runner says that he's confused. I guess why we dislike this as a tier. One goal is always going to be a stand, and the Space Bridge stand is great. Even splits in half, so the smaller figures can each have one. It's just the matter of like your highest end extra tier is just static pieces of plastic that, yeah, you can have display stands for our, weird posing if you want, but the toys don't even need them, and
Yeah.
they're not like Deathsaurus's throne with being able to double as a display stand. That's great. That adds something to the display ability of the figure because of the throne aspect. And being a Japanese villain leader in Transformers from that period, yes, most of the time he did just sit in his throne when he was on screen. Like that's just kind of how that worked. Like that made sense for that, and for Victory Saber having that stand for the flying alternate modes for those two toys also made sense. Here it's just it feels really superfluous, and like they had no other inspiration for what to add on to the toys.
These look like
They've gotten away with it enough times now to where it's just going to be a thing going forward. Where
Yeah, it is.
surprise,
But the problem with these, they look like the crappy stands that came with those new GoBots that came out like 10 years ago. Like
I don't
these
even
are-
remember.
Yeah, these
You
are just
remember
like
the
the
stands?
most.
Yeah, the action toys
Yeah,
machine robo from
Yeah, no, I
Vintage
remember
Chronos.
that. I just don't remember
they're
the stands
so
that came with them.
generic. They're so
Okay.
generic looking.
So what do you think about the price? Because I'm looking at this and I'm saying,
It's
okay,
about right.
maybe they're commander
Yeah,
class
it's right.
now,
It's
so
about
I'm
right.
going 80, that's 160 and a $25 deluxe weaponizer.
Yeah, so I mean,
We've also
we've had a
got
little
pack-
more. We've had a little more inflation.
packaging
and,
costs.
and Victory Saber notably was roughly a Commander plus roughly a Voyager toy, maybe a little bit bigger than a Voyager. This is fully 2 Commander toys plus the HasLab Premium. Like, yeah, it was going to be more expensive no matter what, and I think this is about right. Honestly, several people in our Discord yesterday were saying that they had actually expected this pairing to cost more than what it was,
Right.
and I agree with them.
Because if you look at it, Diecast, with this going into production this year, they have to budget for any increases that they may be expecting when this thing goes into production. So you're looking at $90. 80 Commanders are $90. They're not 80, they're 90. So that's 180 right there. You got a Voyager that in most cases is going to be $25 to $27. So that's going to be, let's just say, 210. And then you have the packaging, you have the printing, you have all that. Yes, I was hoping this would have been about 229. That's kind of I saw the reveal, but I did not get a chance to go to the HasLab page to get the pricing information. So yes, I was expecting around 229, something around that. But I think with them factoring in possible production cost increases, this is about what I think you're going to have to be done to get it made.
Yeah.
But you're still looking at $210 just at basic retail prices right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess part of me just feels like this doesn't feel like a true HasLab.
What is a
Because
true
it's not the HasLab it's not the HasLab
What
you
is
wanted
a
to
true
have.
HasLab?
Unicron is a true HasLab, Brian.
It was something like so off the wall or
Nobody
really
ever promised
super
that.
updated or
Nobody ever promised you that.
that's I thought that's what
It's just
HasLabs
what
are
you've come to
supposed be,
expect from
like,
the past
yeah,
couple.
it's
Like,
And honestly,
where's my Road Caesar? You
yeah,
know?
honestly, at this point, I would be thrilled to see like next year's or the year after's HasLab just be at like $170 and just be a really nice Power Master Optimus Prime, for instance, or a really nice Energon Optimus Prime redo. Because
See, I don't.
there is some mileage you could get in remaking that toy. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, don't kill my hopes of Power Master Prime repaints, man. I need my burning
Okay,
justice.
okay, no, okay. I absolutely agree with you there. I was just using that as an example of like, here's like a semi-mundane thing that I'd be happy to see just done really nicely as a
Yeah,
HasLab thing.
this one's already killed my Yellow Splendid Convoy.
Yeah.
So don't
True.
take away my burning justice.
So,
Godfire Convoy.
Is this not as good as the Engine of Vengeance? Like, that was a HasLab. It didn't fund. Or the that Razor Crest again, that Star Wars, and that other
Is
Marvel.
is Omega Prime less than Cookie Monster to you?
Yes.
I can't compare it to that. I'm comparing
But
it
you
to other
should.
HasLabs.
It is other HasLabs.
Yeah.
Those are HasLabs.
I mean, you can even compare it to some of the Star Wars stuff. Like the Razor Crest is something they could have got out at retail in some form or
Yes.
another.
If Toys R Us was still a thing, they probably could have.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was way too much. That was a way higher price point than retail would.
Did you
would
not
do.
see the $299 Millennium Falcon that Toys R Us did have?
Yeah, Toys R Us
Toys
would
R Us was dead a long time ago.
That's what we're saying, though. If Toys R Us was still around, like the Razor Crest would never have been considered for a HasLab because it would have been partnered with Toys R Us and it would have gone into retail. Like that's kind of the thing. The Razor Crest was they may have made it more special because they were putting it through as a HasLab, but by all other accounting, it was just a large Star Wars vehicle which we've had at retail before.
You could absolutely put these out. You could absolutely put these out as a commander and drop, two at the same time.
they already have their commander classes set up though, and stores will only.
I'm not
carry
saying
so
this
many.
year. You could have done it next year.
A lot
You
of
could have
stores
done it-
don't even keep them on shelves anymore.
Yeah. Something just the way I'm going to choose to look at this diecast is that even though this is something that was in its original form more accessible to us than in the U.S. market than a Unicron was, than Victory Saber was, than Deathsaurus was, this is still a very high quality passion project by the designers, and I think that is specifically what justifies it as a HasLab as much as anything else. Because I mean,
one of the things
you can get, in fact, replica proton packs and ghost traps and what have you at retail, but they are nowhere near as nice as what HasLab puts out.
And
okay, let's let Don have his last opinion and let's move on. We've been doing this for half an hour already.
My last thing is, yes, the second stretch goal stands for Fire Convoy and Ultra Magnus, for Optimus Magnus, are weak. But I just want to postulate, what if they're not really for this set as that is, but for what stretch goal number 3 could be? I'm just putting that out there as a possibility.
And I just want to get one more thing out. Hasbro, when you're listening to this, Evan, it was Diecast that said that, not us, not the rest of us. So there you go. Okay.
The views and opinions of Diecast do not necessarily reflect those of Radio Free Cybertron or the other hosts.
Okay, so
it may point out how other fans feel, though.
I think most fans feel like Don.
I mean, you could just read the comments on the live stream if you want to know how other fans feel. That's why I turned them off.
Yeah. Evan and everybody else on the Hasbro teams, and if you want to pass this on to your Chikara friends too, we're really happy that you're giving some attention to the Robots in Disguise fans. They deserve it.
Yeah, and I will say this: if my Dynanomics works out like I'm planning, I'm getting 3.
I'm getting 1. I am buying it. I don't hate it. I just find it boring.
I'm arguing in its favor more than Diecast is, and I think I'm the only person here who hasn't at least considered ordering it.
Oh no, I'm not getting it.
Well, undecided.
Well, this will mean more to Matt and Chris than anybody else, but I'm probably going to cancel my 5 CSM gear to get 2 of these.
Wow.
So,
that's how much that means to me.
That's dedication, Evan. That's dedication.
Yes. All right, so we got some
JT Prime. I'm going to finish with what JT Prime said in the chat. He keeps sending Evan his demands for a new G2 Pyro. Thank you.
Keep at it, man. You're doing the good work.
Doing the Lord's work.
So I didn't know about any of these next items because I've been busy this past week. It's been crazy at work. So there are more leaks. Legacy United Chromia.
Yeah, we talked a week or two ago about the possibility that had been floated around that it was going to be a retool of Animated Prowl, and guess
Well,
what?
he's
It's a retool of Animated Prowl.
so
It's not so much a retool as the exact same toy in different colors with a new head.
but she looks nice.
The deco mostly looks nice on it.
Yeah.
I think it's a fine Chromia. I wouldn't call it a Cyberverse Chromia.
No, not
Yeah.
remotely.
It looks nothing like a Cyberverse Chromia, but if you just want a Chromia, yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I hate to say it. If they wanted to make a Cyberverse Chromia using an existing mold with minimal retooling, they would need to have used Legacy Prime RC once again, because that's the closest
Ugh.
actual body shape to the Cyberverse design.
Well, I mean, isn't Cyberverse Chromia basically based off of the Generations Chromia, which was a retooled Prime RC?
Kinda, sorta, in a very long and winding road led to that point, yes.
Yeah, so we're playing a very elaborate game of Chromia telephone here.
Basically, yeah. So
yeah.
Cyberverse Chromia was largely based off of IDW Chromia, which was based off of the Generations toy, which was based off of the original Prime RC toy.
Okay.
And the green grass grows all around.
Okay. Blade saying that he thought it was someone's custom.
Okay, so no, the person, it's definitely not a custom because, like, you can't just like change clear plastic colors like that. That's the biggest giveaway there. But if you look close, like, you can see this is not painted surfaces, it's plastic colors. But no, the person got the pictures from wherever and posted them in the customs forum just to like stir the pot or something. Uh, Apparently the person is just, a known, I don't want to use the word troublemaker like other people have used, but like they're known for doing stuff like this from time to time. So no, this is genuine for sure.
Some light trolling.
Yeah,
A little bit, yeah.
That's me over the years. Legacy United Shard. So if you want more of the Rock Lords, your Rock Lord.
Yeah, so it's a helicopter made out of,
Death
I guess it's supposed
crystals.
to be, yeah, crystals.
Death crystals.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good to me.
No,
No, it doesn't. But
As far as the Rock Lords go, I think it looks the best, but I'm not
Yeah.
into any of them really.
I think I'm all out on these rock vehicle things.
yeah.
Like, does it like come apart and do like weaponizery things like the rock truck does? Because
Probably
supposedly,
that doesn't seem to have been demonstrated by the one person who has it in hand.
okay, I mean, for some reason, I don't hate it, but I don't see myself like going out of my way for it either. If it shows up on clearance on Amazon, I'll probably grab one.
Like, if it was not the rock texture and it was just, a helicopter that was this general shape and engineered this way, I think I'd be pretty into it. I can't get behind the combination of this and flying crystal growth.
Hmm.
It's just not working for me.
I really hate to say it, but for the kind of crystals this is molded as, I would actually like to see a clear plastic version of this.
Yeah, I hate you for saying that too.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I like this. I think this is one of the situations where if there was some fiction behind explaining why they're like this,
Uh-huh.
people might gravitate more towards it because you have some context for why these are rock people turning into vehicles.
They evolved from naturally occurring rocks.
Right.
Sure.
But I'll be honest, I like the helicopter. I think it's interesting.
It's Rotor Storm, but in crystal form.
Right. So I mean, I'm glad they're thinking outside the box on some of these rockinizers, but that's what I'm calling them, as rockinizers. But I want to see more before I make a decision. But I like their thinking. Like, here's the design box. One guy's over here like, let's put rocks on a helicopter. See if that flies.
I hate you, Don.
All the aeronautical engineers out there are just crying right now.
So, Ashaman, I don't want to. I shouldn't go back to this because we're not talking about the HasLab anymore. But I've never heard this phrase before, and I like it. Diecast, don't take this personally. Ashaman, when you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there. Ashaman said diecast really quickly has become a G whiner. G1 or nothing for him. I have never heard G whiner. That is the best term. So,
I mean, diecast gave it a thumbs up, so
Everyone's allowed to have their opinions. I'm
Exactly.
glad if you like this.
Yeah.
And
I'm just glad it was you and not me this time, diecast.
yeah. So, okay, I'm gonna renege on something I said. Studio Series Gamer Edition Sideswipe. The first photos we got of this made me physically ill to look at.
I think
I
it
don't-
looks fine.
I don't like it, but I don't hate it like I did. What the photos before just didn't work for me. This is okay.
it's okay.
It's
It's-
okay.
it's okay. And if it manages to not be a tremendous nuisance to transform like the original Fall of Cybertron Sideswipe toy was, I will be happy.
I don't remember that toy being that difficult to transform. That was the Jazz retool. It was pretty straightforward.
To be honest, Jazz gave me some problems as well. In
Interesting.
Terms of just getting
Same-
things positioned.
Same here. It just kind of you try to fold it together to peg it together, and it kind of was sort of like generate like wheelie, the first wheelie the decent wheelie from
Titan's
whatever.
Return.
Titan's
Your
Return.
Titan's Return. When you try
Yeah.
to put it together in car mode, you just kind of goes
collapse.
Yeah, that's the way Jazz and Sideswipe were for me. They just you go to peg them together, and they just kind of just undo themselves.
Yeah, and
I just-
Sideswipe for me was a little bit more so that than Jazz was, in fact, but he also came with better weapons than Jazz, as I recall.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, all of those were kind of bad toys. So,
Except the Tiny Optimus Prime.
I mean, that
Well-
was cool. It's better as Ultra Magnus, but yeah.
Yes. Ultra
Sideswipe.
Magnus came with the sword that Prime should have had, so yeah,
I love that sword.
it's great.
So did we jump to Sideswipe?
We were talking about Sideswipe.
Okay, because I jumped straight to Sunstreaker. Sideswipe's okay. I don't care.
I think I'm
You were-
all out on the
Okay, you were
Gamer
talking
Edition
about
toys.
Sunstreaker, but calling it Sideswipe.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy. I got like 3
Oh.
hours sleep. So, yeah. So Sunstreaker made me physically ill looking at it when we saw it a couple weeks back. Now I'm looking at it and it's okay.
It's nice that we have some pictures of it that are not literally in hand.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
We can actually see more of the toy now.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope they get because we all know yellow is one of the worst colors on a toy to color match. How many bumblebees? How many the Combiner War Sunstreaker? How many have we had that just don't match? Hopefully by this point they can get the yellows that's supposed to be the same shade matching the differentiating yellows. They match, but they don't match the other one. I'm hoping they can get the right shading on these different colors of
The
yellow.
ABS and the nylon are never going to color match
Nope.
Yeah.
because
And unfortunately, oh, sorry.
you can go ahead.
And unfortunately, neither is the paint and the plastic. So I think this is just going to be a problem going forward with yellow characters.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll be honest, what I see on my screen, that does not bother me the way it is right now.
Yeah.
But again, production variances are going to kick in. It's
yeah.
like,
I mean, it's entirely possible to engineer the toy where you don't have yellow be both an ABS color and the nylon color. You can make that nylon sprue be a completely different color, and you never run into those color matching problems like that. It just depends what kind of flexibility you have with how much you can hide those parts, and if, some of those colors are supposed to be there in that other color. Every once in a while you get a situation where there's no choice but to try to have a nylon sprue be the same color or as close to it as the ABS. But, for light refraction qualities and stuff, nylon plastic is never going to be as vibrant color as an ABS equivalent. With
And
the
I
same
think
Pantones.
Matt would agree with me that on this toy, there should be no clear plastic and they should have just painted the windows. It probably would have been about the same cost to go no clear plastic and paint the windows. Like there's not.
That's the way I feel about every toy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's-
think at this point, besides the fact that they seem to be saving that for, like special releases,
Yeah.
opaque windows at the moment. There's also the fact that for all of the other studio series, like Cybertron version characters they've done up to now, they have done clear plastic for the windows. So
Yeah,
to do Sunstreaker without that would be the odd man out. Also,
right.
that adds the new issue of trying to paint yellow onto opaque light blue, and I don't know if that's going to be harder than clear dark blue or not.
No. So if they did away with the clear plastic, they would mold that sprue in the yellow and then paint the blue over it,
Oh, right, right.
like how you got Buzzworthy Cliff Jumper. That what was previously a clear part was cast in red or maybe even gray, and then it was painted over and painted over for the roof and the window colors.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope in hand the colors, the yellows do match a little bit better than say IDW Bumblebee did way back, because that I think is still the worst offender in terms of yellow matching, and just
That was just green.
yeah, it was just not totally apparent until you had it in hand.
Yeah.
Finally, first look at Select's 5-pack Wheeljack.
Love it.
Looks good.
I think so. This highlights a problem with the Earthrise Wheeljack mold, where Wheeljack's cartoon design had like a thin windshield band that went across the middle of the chest, and this is just like the whole lower half of the torso is the windshield part, and
Yeah.
it kind of gets exacerbated when it's painted in the opaque blue. Now, that being said, I still
It's
much prefer what this looks like to any previous version that's been released.
Yes, it's always been that way. Like I've noticed that with the Siege or Earthrise or whatever line that came out in. Like I've always noticed that where
Yeah,
there should be a little more, um, I guess, car part underneath that
yeah,
windshield. But I mean, that's like that car is really wedge shaped anyway. It's really
yeah.
weird. I don't actually care for the car mode, but the robot mode's fine. But
hmm
yeah, this paint job helps so much.
Look at how they painted the head. That looks wonderful. Like
It does.
It does.
that is like right off of an animation cell, the way that face looks with that paint job. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really encouraged about what the totality of this box set is going to look like. I'm very much looking forward to this entire set now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you also looking forward to a Super 7 reaction T-Rex?
No.
If I can get it for $6, hell yes.
That's coming. Okay.
Watch your Target
Clearance
clearance
section.
aisles.
Right.
Possibly the week this comes out, because Target's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It could be anywhere from a week that it comes out to a year later.
Yeah.
So on Super 7's store front online for $20, they have the Japanese '86 movie poster in puzzle form. It's 1,000 pieces.
It's only $20.
Yeah, it's 12 by 20.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Like
I'm probably gonna pick one up. I really like it.
I hate jigsaw puzzles. So, but it's
Not
nice
my
looking.
style either.
Yeah.
Well, make your kids put it together then.
They just lose pieces.
I ordered it. I love it. Hopefully it'll be as nice in hand as I think it's going to be. I'm going to frame it. I did see it was available on Big Bad Toy Store for pre-order. So I actually, if I would have known that, I probably would have pre-ordered it and just added it to my pile of loot. That way I didn't pay close to $10 to ship it. But
Good to know.
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks nice in the box.
Yeah.
I might just get it for the box.
And as a reminder for anybody who does want to frame this, tfradio.net/Amazon for your puzzle glue and puzzle fixer needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have been actually thinking about getting this and putting it together and fixing it and having it as a wall hanging because I love the Japanese movie poster and like reproductions of that have been made, but like not super often, and usually they're more expensive than this too.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the source of this next item? Hasbro will be displaying goods at Nuremberg Toy Fair, but we probably won't see any of it. Is that because there's going to be like a security guard standing in front of it?
The bald guy?
Yeah, something like that. So if I understand right, Hasbro or their PR reached out to at least TFW and probably other outlets directly about that they're going to have a presence at the German Toy Fair. Traditionally, that event is never open to the public. It's just for, trade representatives. So while it is possible for people who would report on what they've seen to get in there legitimately, pictures are almost never going to happen. And what we refer to with the bald gentleman standing in the way goes all the way back to pre-Combiner Wars, where the very first looks at Devastator were taken from the grounds outside through a window with a security individual blocking about half of the Combiner.
9 years ago, Chris.
Yep.
Yep.
And certain other outlets even went as far as to put out a monetary value on clear pictures of that they would be able to exclusively post on their front pages.
No one would do that.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
It was quite a time, let me tell
It
you.
was a different time. So there's going to be another 40th anniversary souvenir jacket, and it is so metal.
Yeah, so the first one was the Dinobots, which was great already. And of course, they have to have the natural counterpart to that now, a Devastator jacket.
Which is the proper way to celebrate the 40th anniversary, Hasbro.
With Devastator. Something from G1.
Oh, don't let's start.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is, yeah, I love this. Not as much as the Dinobot jacket, but this is really cool. I like the colors. And I regret that I'm, too American sized and shaped to probably ever wear one of these.
Do we have any idea on the cost, or do we
No,
want to know?
I don't think we do yet.
Yeah.
It's going to be expensive.
It's not cheap.
Specialty Japanese apparel stuff like this is often even more expensive than specialty Western apparel stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
As someone who has been interested a few times over the years in getting like replica like Sentai wardrobe pieces and seeing what that actually costs to get one that may or may not actually be in my size. Yes, no, this is not happening.
Okay. At the bottom of the page that we have the link,
Yes.
I believe that says 86,000 yen.
Yes. So Don, that's about $700 at the current exchange rate.
All right. I thought that's okay because I was trying to find something that looks
possibly
like
a little bit more.
Yeah, and the biggest size they say is at XXL.
Yeah. Well, it's
okay.
not
That might actually fit me.
Hey, get it
in Japanese sizing.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
It gives the sizes in centimeters, so you can always find out.
So we have photos of the Beast Wars versus set, Dinobot versus Tarantulas.
Yeah, there's a bunch of side-by-side comparisons in there, which, like, Dinobot's an extremely lateral move. There is more paint on the new one, but I would not say either of them are actually, like, objectively that much closer to being the correct animation appearance versus the other one.
Or even better looking.
Tarantulas, meanwhile, is a completely different kind of animal here, where I liken this in our Discord to the practice of going a mile out of your way to avoid one traffic light. So what they've done is they took they took a black plastic sprue, or no, they took a purple plastic sprue and turned it black. They cast it in black plastic instead. Then they repainted purple over almost all those parts. And this seems to just be for the purpose of making the elbows black. No other functional difference to the toy, but to have the elbows be black. And they had to paint a ton more surfaces in order to achieve that goal. They also did paint yellow the molded in like stripe and spot details on the robot thighs. Which on my Hasbro one is something that I asked Hey Mickey to customize for me almost as soon as the toy came out. So like that part I appreciate getting just right out of the box. But yeah, Tarantulas is like the weirdest display of effort for the tiniest possible gain, if you can even call it that. Dinobot looks pretty good though. I don't think one is like more correct than the other one is. That Tarantulas is a great toy, and some of the Hasbro Dinobots have been known to have plastic discoloration issues. So like this is not a bad set to pick up if you need like a new Dinobot and you never got around to Tarantulas from the Hasbro version. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this one. It's not like, painted on whiskers level of pointless, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'd get this if I needed new copies of either toy. I'll put it that way. And I'm still considering going for that Inferno and Air Razor, because those were also like two of the better molds on the Kingdom Beast Wars redos.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read this one, just as Chris wrote it.
Good.
In case Brian wants to get some low-cost ink, Dollar Tree has a new batch of Transformers tattoos. My kids love these things, so I may get them.
Yeah, anytime I see the combination of Dollar Tree and Transformers, I don't care what it is, it's going in the show notes for you.
Yeah, my wife always will bring me back some crap from Dollar Tree like this.
I mean, I think that's really cool and funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's a good collection of the what do they call this art again?
Oh, the Evergreen stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, good collection of evergreen art for the evergreen characters. If anybody wants a good cheap look at this.
Yeah, and it can be on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Hard to look at there, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's what mirrors are for, Rob.
I know.
I'm sure they have those at Dollar Tree as well. So, we've worked out a whole shopping list here.
Yep. Okay, let's jump to what we got this week. We of course we do Transformers, what we got this week, but for patrons you get to hear like the full Monty ham sandwiches and all. Let's go to Diecast. What did you get?
I got Machine Wars Soundwave, which is
neat.
the fans' hobby third-party Machine Wars Soundwave. I think I overpaid because on the box it says $9.99, which is kind of a reference back to the
It's going on
KB
clearance.
Toys sticker. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was there. I worked at
I
KB
was
at the
there,
time.
man.
So did I. But yeah, I'm happy to have it. I love this mold, and this is the third time I have this mold now.
So, but they took the eagle bits out of that, right? The falcon bits.
Yeah, the same changes for Stalker should apply to this
Okay.
one.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
But yeah, that's of course the big item, which I was excited about, isn't going to be here till tomorrow.
Oh,
So
is
you
it an
gonna
Omega
spoil it?
Prime?
it is not an Omega
Can
Prime.
you give us a hint?
I already have an Omega Prime, the Optimus Prime, and the Ultra Magnus on my shelf. Like I have all three, or technically four, displayed. So yeah, that's all I got this week.
So no hint as to what you're getting?
Nope, it's a surprise.
Oh.
Okay. Cool. Donald, what about you?
The one thing I picked up this week came in today. Shozy Store had a sale on MechFan Toys figure, which is for once it was an original mold. It's a Rodimus. It's a Hot Rod / Rodimus Prime that
It's
you
titanium.
can Legends class really, but this is the metallic version.
It's pretty.
There is another MechFan Toys Hot Rod that's more the magenta. So I'm hoping those that have video can kind of see the metallic
Nobody
on
has
that.
video. This is a podcast.
But I can see the metallic finish on it.
Yeah.
The metallic is pretty.
Yeah, and the thing
For
is,
those who can't see it, it's definitely
for
striking.
everyone actually paying attention to this, or listening, who can't see it, it looks nice.
Unless you're in our
right, I was trying to show
Discord.
for the people that are
Very
watching
shiny.
live. Also, the Rodimus,
Don't do
the
that.
Winnebago part, when it transforms, it
Oh,
fits
just like the masterpiece.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of cues in the masterpiece. You have the flip down exhaust pipes. The Rodimus fits under there, and it was originally like $50, and it was on sale for like 25 with free shipping.
Does it scrape the paint off of the spoiler when you put it in the trailer like the masterpiece? Did they get to that level of detail and
Knees
replicating it?
explode.
Actually, no, because the spoiler has a cutout under the Rodimus part where it goes and is encapsulated by these side panels where you see where the hinges
Oh,
are at.
kind of like the was that DX9?
Kind of, but the DX9 the carry was all in one. There
Oh
was
no,
no,
you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of Protector. It had the slots in the side for
Protector
classic
had
Rodimus.
all the versions of Protector
Yeah,
have
okay,
have
that's
the,
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. So I was real happy with that. It's going to look, and it also comes with a target master. If you want them in hot rod form with a target master, you got a couple of different spoiler options. So I think for $25 and free shipping, it was a nice little addition to my shelf. And
For $25, I probably would have gone for that too, because that is pretty cool looking.
yeah, and that's all I got this week.
Was it
Matt.
actually $25 or was that like post Dononomics $25?
Well, I had $5 in Shozy. It was $29.99, but I had $5 in Shozy
Oh,
reward points, so it was 25. But I mean, 29
yeah.
down from 50 in free shipping is still pretty good.
It's
Okay,
already
Matt.
sold out.
Boo. Matt, what about you?
All right, so I picked up the retro movie Perceptor.
You like it?
Ooh, pretty.
I do. I mean, I always like the retro G1 toys. They're nice. So this is like, I guess this. I think I only have one other Perceptor before this, but um, I also got the retro 40th anniversary blaster in Steeljaw.
Oh, it looks so good.
Isn't it nice?
It is. Mine has some paint issues across the brow. Like it looks like the paint ran down both sides. It's a little disappointing. Other than that, it looks really nice. So I have at least 3 G1 blasters now and one
That is some
Quimcast.
that is some cherry red looking plastic on that too. I like that.
That might be a trick of the camera.
Ah,
It's
damn.
yeah.
It is not quite cherry red, but it is very pronounced. Yeah, it's very nice looking.
Yeah, I do
Seems
like
very
the
close to Brian's shirt from here.
yeah, I do
Oh
like
yeah,
the
kinda.
great and I haven't messed with a G1 Steeljaw in so long I forgot he extends in the middle.
Yeah.
That's nice. And I also picked up Generations United Deluxe Bumblebee from Animated. So I got this from Pulse from their Heroes and Villains sale, so it was 15% off with a code. So it knocked it down to about 21 something, and it still feels like I paid way too much. This thing is tiny. Um, Other than that, I actually really like what they've done with it. I know we had talked previously, like when we first saw this thing, about how like the head doesn't look like it fits on the body. It looks better in person to me anyway. Like
Nice.
this body seems like it could fit, either an animated or a traditional styled head. Um, I was looking forward to like getting this as a wasp or some kind of repaint, but honestly, I don't know if I can do it now because it is that small.
I saw
And
I saw in the comments on a video when I watched, and I think someone summed it up perfectly. And if I'm pulling it from the wrong person, I apologize. Deluxe is a price point, not a size.
yeah,
And
but at the
that's
same time, this feels like something I paid $9 for in Power of the Primes.
Oof.
Yeah. So as much as I wanna I wanna like it, I can't love it because there's just not enough there for the price. But that's it for me.
Chris?
Yes. Okay. All right. For on topic stuff, I got Legacy Thundertron from Paladin off of my wish list. So thank you,
Oh,
Paladin.
cool.
I never had the original Thundertron because, like, Brian, you remember we went to BotCon 2012 and Rick Alvarez, when he was still working for Hasbro, he was, doing their panel the one day, and he actually had a production sample of Thundertron, and it was in a completely different deco than what the toy ended up coming out as.
Vaguely.
And that pre-production deco was what I really liked about that toy. It looked so nice, like so vibrant and crisp, and the toy that came out was just really blah by comparison. So the Legacy one hews way, way stronger to that pre-production deco. So like I really, really like how this looks. The paint job on this is great. All the colors are bright. Like the white on here is super clean and bright. The blue is really vibrant and pops nicely. The gold accents are they're uh well, gold slash bronze. It kind of depends on how you get them in the light. But like they're spread out and just really give like a nice contrasting accent to that. I love how the deco turned out on this. Um, as the robot mode goes, like the articulation's pretty much what you expect. For as much like decorative armor pieces that are on this, it's designed fairly thoughtfully where stuff doesn't get in the way, especially like the big hip panels. They're ball jointed and have a lot of range to move and not interfere with how the legs are moving. Um, the only actual like shortfall of the articulation here, and I'm not necessarily even complaining about this. So where on the left leg you have an ankle rocker, the right ankle is designed to do the peg leg gimmick like the original toy did. And because of that, there's no ankle tilt on that side, whether you have the foot on or not. So that's always a static ankle, basically. Like it can swivel a little bit, I think, around that, but it can't tilt. So the posing is always going to be a little bit limited, especially if you have the foot on. Now, to my pleasant surprise, on the peg leg, the other foot is big enough and the ankle joints are solid enough that like it balances really well on that tiny peg. Like I'm like really surprised at how stable it is with just the tiny little. I think that's like a 3 millimeter end on that. You could put a blast effect on his peg leg if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but like, oh wow, Matt is holding up for us on camera right now the Legacy United animated Bumblebee next to Power of the Prime's tailgate, and damn if they are not nearly the same size.
That's scary.
That's sad. I assume the Bumblebee has a little bit more complexity to it than the tailgate does, but like, yeah, wow. But yeah, Thundertron is really nice in robot mode. The transformation, I had to reference the instructions a little bit to figure out where some of the limbs were wanting to go to lock down in the alternate mode. One thing that I was pleasantly surprised with how this works, the front legs it's not obvious at first, but they're actually designed to tab into the robot arms, and it like completely shores up the structure of the lion or whatever he turns into. Um, and like it's a very simple little thing and really easy to get set in place once you get the arms locked in. And like I would not have thought of that myself to do that to make it be so like structurally solid. Like it can hold itself up really well because the elbow joints on the front legs are they're rivet joints on my copy. They're very solid. Um, and like they will hold their position really well with most of the weight being on the front end of the toy. And the back legs do the traditional like Beast Wars style or any kind of beast form if it's a cat where it's just kind of the robot legs bent in two places to kind of look like the rear legs of a cat. And I mean you kind of come to expect that kind of thing. There's not too much else they could do with that, and it's fine. The ankle joint problem isn't so much of a thing here, although I'm finding that the feet can't quite pitch forward as much as I would like them to for it to stand in the posture that seems like it would be correct, but that's not a huge deal to me. But yeah, like overall, this is really nice. Well, nicer than I was expecting. And from the comparison photos I've seen, it's about the same size as the original Thundertron 2. So it's not like a case of, say, animated Bumblebee, like Matt was talking about, where like it's, much smaller than the original or tinier than what price point makes you think it should be. This is really satisfying, really pretty. I'm really happy with this. Thank you so much, Paladin. So other things I got. Um, Hey Mickey brought me when I met up with him last week, Origins Jazz and Velocitron Crasher and Shadow Strip.
Oh, nice.
Crasher I had before, but mine came from Pulse with paint damage, and of course, at the time it was basically impossible to replace that. So he was able to grab me one from the supply at Ross. So I have a better condition replacement now, and I have Shadow Strip now to add to my collection of just in case G2 Stunticons. Um, I didn't have a chance yet to really like dig into Origins Jazz, but like I've seen his when I visited him the last time, and like I thought that was looking like they'd done a pretty good job making that design work in practice. So like I'm looking forward to spending a little bit more time with that. Um, so while I was out with Hey Mickey doing the rounds at the toy stores in and around the Nashville area, I found three of the four Titans Return clones for $3 each at a comic book store. So now I have an additional Fastlane Cloudraker and Wingspan. They didn't have Pounce for whatever reason. I think the Autobot clones were from the re-release two pack. And Wingspan seemed to be from the original release, so that may be why no Pounce. The person who owned these previously may not have got that box set that he was in. We went to a few Targets, but the most either of us could find Transformers wise was Battlemaster Air Razor. So I went ahead and grabbed one of those because I hadn't seen one in a while, and I went ahead and got an Optimus Primal along with that as well. And then a couple of days later, I went to my local Walmart, and while I was getting a replacement for my defective RC Weaponizer 2-pack that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, actually had a couple of the Rhinox Battle Masters for the first time in quite a while. So I grabbed one of those too. And then with the Cheetor that comes with RC, I think now I have all of the Rise of the Beast Battle Masters that are named for the original Beast Wars characters. So that I'm probably good to stop there with those. And I think that covers all my on topics.
Rob?
Nothing on topic.
So I got this from Amazon Japan today. I thought I'd canceled it. It is Hoist. Masterpiece Hoist. So I'm not certain if I'm keeping it or not. I have no idea. So I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, we looked at the pictures a few weeks ago, Brian, and it was like that mold looks a lot better as Hoist than it ever did as Trailbreaker.
I think that's one of the better looking recent ones.
Yeah. So I have Trailbreaker somewhere too. I haven't opened it. I may keep them. We'll see. Okay. Let's jump to ham sandwiches. Rob, what'd you get?
Just a couple of things. Because they were cheap on Amazon, I got Lucky and Podcast from the Ghostbusters Afterlife Plasma series. Basically, my rationale was that at the time it didn't seem like they were in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, so I'd get the figures of those characters that were probably ever going to exist.
Wait, so Podcast is not going to be in it?
Okay, I'm not quite finished yet. I'm getting to that.
Oh, sorry.
Turns out that when they put out the new trailer for Frozen Empire like a day or two ago, the US trailer is very, hey, look, here's all the other things we forgot to scrape from Ghostbusters 1 in Afterlife. The international trailer, though, actually has like story and characters, and yes, Lucky and Podcast are both going to be in the movie. So,
and also it looks like someone that we are seeing again in the Ghostbusters franchise for a long time is coming back.
Something we forgot to scrape from Ghostbusters 1 the first time.
Yeah, I would take not having Podcast back for not having Slimer. Like I would gladly give up Slimer to not have Podcast come back.
I'd be fine with neither, but that trailer actually made me believe there's like a real movie under the Ghostbusters 1 references. So I
still don't trust them.
Yeah.
I don't 100% either, but I'm willing to give it a shot on Blu-ray.
So I am a firm believer, even though I love Ghostbusters 2, the quality of the Ghostbusters films follow the chronological order in which they were released, meaning the Afterlife is the worst Ghostbusters movie.
Until March.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I got. They're decent figures, and I'm trying to decide if I want to get the other Afterlife figures now or not, but I still resent having to possibly get CG Abomination Harold Ramis to get like all the actual main characters of Afterlife.
God, I hated that. Chris.
So I did have one nice find at one of those Targets last week. So they actually had the one NECA Gargoyles figure I'd been interested in, which Don probably has an inkling of what this is. It's Business Suit Xanatos. They actually had a couple of them on the shelf, which stunned me because I've been keeping my eye out for this for quite a while now and had never seen one in a store.
Yeah, I've seen Armored Xanatos in the store
once, I have too.
But I've never seen Business Suit Xanatos, and that's a good-looking figure.
It really is. So, like, I'd have been happy to get that for retail, but I had gotten a 15% off any toy offer in Target Circle a few days earlier. Plus, Target sent me an extra 5% off for my birthday, and I used my red card for another 5% off. So I ended up getting a sticker price $36.99 figure for right up $30, tax included after all the discounts.
Nice.
Well, I'm surprised. Usually, the stuff in collectibles is extremely hit or miss on whether those discounts work or not. So that was great.
It was absolutely no problem. Like it didn't I didn't have to like, get anybody to come over and write a polite letter or anything. Like it just worked. And yeah, that's a really, really nice looking figure. The face likeness is so correct to the animation model. Like it's perfect. I can basically hear Jonathan Frakes' voice coming out of this thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's all I got off topic.
Matt,
Nothing off topic.
Don,
Nothing.
wow, diecast.
Nothing.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so we can move on. Hey, so ham sandwiches are exclusive to Patreon, where you can go to patreon.com/tfradio and sign up. Patrons get an ad-free version of RFC. Get it a day early. Doesn't mean 24 hours. Get it the day before. Higher bit rate, weekly Patreon exclusive pre-show podcast, unedited episodes of RFC, and I think I'm going to have some edits. I may trim down some of Diecast's G. Weiner commentary. Man, it was
Trim,
pretty.
not omit, diecast. Don't
Not
make those
omit.
gestures.
Trim it down, cause man, that was a lot. And that'll be exclusive to Patreon. Diecast is offended. We'll have the new There Goes My Money podcast a week early. Patrons at the touch tier get to be on There Goes My Money. Starting February, that's going to be posted twice a month. Touch patrons get to be mentioned on the show each week and listed at tfradio.net/credits, and I'll do that now. Kevin Dorsey, Tiger Force's Ninja Consultant, Jason Hiley, Eric Griffin, Rick Mahurin, Ryan Bona, Emmett Stresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Joey Russell, Sean Williamson, Spider Bob, Jay Klein Rye, Sean Hamilton, Jacob Lucia, and Sean Bratton. And so we have it's called the Hot Five right now because Hot Five was the podcast that we're sunsetting for our patrons. But is that exclusive just to patrons who are at the touch tier? Can anybody get to that?
I think I manually set up the access list for the Hot 5 channel.
Okay. But so if you sign up at patreon.com/tfradio at the touch tier, you can coordinate with Chris and everything in that channel. So, but you can connect with me at contact@tfradio.net.
When I say I set it up manually, I mean I think I added the relevant people manually based on Rob's list of participants in History on the Fives.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna. I don't know if I don't think we have a separate Discord role, or if Patreon even supports having separate Discord roles for different supporter tiers.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, like for the moment, if you want to sign up as a Touch patron to be on There Goes My Money, you will have to go through Brian to get the communication sorted out to me, because he's the one with the access to the Patreon information and can, go through all that and make sure everything's in order.
Yep. Contact@tfradio.net. Sign up at patreon.com/tfradio. You can find all of our stuff at tfradio.net. We have podcasts going back to 1999. We've been doing this a while. We're on Twitter occasionally at TFRadio, Facebook at facebook.com/TFRadio. If you want to watch us live, you can join us at youtube.com/Radio Free Cybertron, I think. And of course, we have our Discord at tfradio.net/Discord. You can find everything I do at briankilby.com. I just posted my first true crime podcast.
Ooh.
Yes, you need to go. briankilby.com. You can check it out right there. So, and I'm also like on Twitter at bkilby and Blue Sky at kilby.bsky.social. Diecast, how do people get a hold of you?
They get a hold of me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Diecast2. You can like my Facebook page at Reviews by Diecast, and you can see all my reviews on youtube.com/RFC Reviews.
Cool. Donald.
I have to ask, Brian, does your true crime podcast involve the Taco Bell sinkhole in some fashion?
The next one might.
Okay, good. I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EVR.
Cool. Rob.
I'm on Blue Sky at robflails.bsky.social, and mostly just me babbling. I am on YouTube at Flail Throughs. I am covering Gundam Battle Operation 2 for both Steam and PlayStation Network. Last week on PC, we added the Freedom Gundam, which is from a totally different universe than everything else in the game. That generated a lot of commentary.
I bet.
Yeah, it's a platform exclusive and it's an alternate universe, so that it's so it gave everybody an equal chance to be mad about something. It was great.
Discourse. How is it game balance wise?
So far it looks like it's not too bad. The bigger controversy game balance wise last week is that they buffed the Unicorn and Phoenix Gundams, which a lot of people said, yeah. Well, to be honest, in Unicorn's case, they nerfed it not long after it came out, so it kind of did need pulled back a little bit. And I am dragging this on way too long, but youtube.com/flailthroughs if you want to see about Gundam Battle Operation 2. Patreon.com/flailthroughs if you want to support what I'm doing with Gundam Battle Operation 2. And if you'd rather just send me something not necessarily related to Gundam or Gundam Battle Operation 2, tfradio.net/playlist is where my Amazon wish list lives, and that will knock a few pennies back towards the operation of the show.
Very cool. Chris?
I'm on social media on Blue Sky at ChrisRTXV. You can find the things I've done on the internet at playwithphotography.com, which includes toy photography and articles about such. You can find me all the time in our Discord at tfradio.net/Discord. Great place to talk about random things and bits, and we have interesting commentary on new reveals as they come out, such as the whole Omega Prime thing, which was just yesterday as of when we were recording. And of course we had all kinds of talk about both the Chromia and the Shard leaks, so like definitely if you want to like keep up with what's going on and get some interesting color comments about what we all think about that, come join us in our Discord. It's a great place to be and interact with fellow fans. And my Amazon wish list is at tfradio.net/chrislist. It's never too late to send me a birthday present, just saying.
Cool. Matt?
You can find me at melvar.bsky.social. That's pretty much it.
Very cool.
3 L's, 2 R's?
3 L's, 2 R's.
Yeah.
John DeLuna, not here. That John D everywhere. Rob Springer, not here. Robo Rob Springer on Twitter and at zonebase.org. And on Blue Sky at zonebase.bsky.social. I'm about to pass out. We will see you next week. Bye. Okay. Oh, I almost hit the end button instead of stop recording.
Recording stopped.
I guess it would have worked the same either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need my recording this week?
No, people watching live,
Okay.
I'm exhausted. I'm going to end the stream, so we will see you next week.
Good night, everybody.
By Twitch. And let me stop YouTube.
Yep, jump through the hoops.
Yep, jump through the hoop tubes.